All right, I'm on hole number 10 of the Stateside Classics tournament. I'm in the opening round of the rookie division. Hole number 10, just squeaked it out on hole number 1, just barely. Let's see how many other people are down here in this range. I know they changed the cutoff to 75 instead of 50 because of the issues that they've had this week, but really the whole deal is trying to make sure, you know, so we can see where we're going to be at with these new tournament formats. Seeing whether or not minimum score, how close to mid-pack we're going to be if we have minimum score. Obviously want to pick something up. Now I shot minimum score on the front, but I did not get it done the right way. I picked up the eagle on hole number 9, but I dropped the eagle on hole number 3. Piss poor shot on hole number 3 on the second shot, and just so I need to pick something up. I need to maintain the minimum score on the front or on the back, and need to pick something up to separate me from the crowd. So this is the hole we're on right here, hole number 10, and I'm going to get on in 1. That is the goal. And I'm really, on the front side, I was actually on with a mid putt, anywhere from where I was there to on the fringe. Slightly off the fringe is where I'm looking for. I want to be pin high. No, I don't want to roll past the pin, and I don't want to be short. Be 5 rings off, 3.5 topspin. Take the wind out. Now the wind changed direction from the front. I also read that they're going to, the winds are going to be the same on the front and the back in the weekend round. Maybe 5 rings off. 2.5. That is a ring and 2/3. Max curl. Hitting it perfect. And that should put me just left of the cup. Almost pin high. And where it comes in down there, you really do not want to hit a grate to the right. I know it looks like I could open that up, and when you turn around and look, this sand trap that's up here close to the green, that little edge, and it's the one that's way up here in the front, that little spot where the rough kicks out right there. If you're trying the trajectory straight to the hole, you are just skirting along that. I'm trying to give myself enough room so that if I catch a grate to the right, I can just eke through. A grate to the right is probably like right straight at the cup. But it is tight down there. And it's one of those things too, depending on, it's almost the farther you pull it to the right, you're trying to pick up that distance. How you hit out here in the fairway, it on your trajectory, it really throws you to the right the more you go to the right. If that makes sense. It makes sense to me now. Come on, man. Keep up. I might have missed that. It's going to be close. Close. Got to get an eagle on hole number 1. There's just no two ways around it. You can kid yourself and say, you don't have to, but you have to. Get my notes out here so I have some notes out in front of me. Need to get my calculator rolling too. As soon as this hole's over, I'm going to go grab my phone. I'll pause it and come back. In the hole. I don't like this not winning a chest every time. And I know I forfeit a lot in tournaments, so other people are winning chests, but I like it when somebody's winning a chest. This nobody winning a chest, and I think that those tournament chests are probably about twice as much as a normal silver. I think I had like 5 or 6 in a row on the front 9 where nobody won a chest. So, all right, hole number 11. Hold on one second. All right, hole number 11. Let's go check out hole number 11. Hole number 11 is Vineyard Acres, hole number 1. Uno. And I have been all over this hole. .275. I'm looking at my notes here. I made a change from the front, so I'm hitting it. Just bear with me. I'm hitting a 1.5 backspin, 1 left-hand side spin, and where that'll set me up is about blue ring off down here on the transition between the rough and the fairway. 0.9 per ring, 27.5% wind adjustment. Just bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. What's up, baby? All right, hole number 11. Let me look at that one more time. Okay. Had to remember what hole I was on. This is Grizzly. And I'm going to bring an Olympus ball just because I'm trying to cut the wind down just a titch. That's all I need. That's all I need. And I need to hit perfect. Need to hit perfecto. See if I go first. Maybe. Yup. The wind is 1.7 equals divided by 0.9. It's 2.4 rings. 1.5 backspin, 1 left-hand side spin. Pull it up so that I'm going straight at the cup. It's 2.4 rings. There's 2, 4. Just need to hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. Get in the hole. And I keep missing right there on that side of the cup. And I keep making adjustments so that I won't miss on that side of the cup. I've probably taken that shot 5 times this week, 6 times this week, and I have missed on one side of the cup or the other that close. At least 3 or 4 times. Ah, right there. If I make there in that situation, it was like it was an overpull. It was like it was an overpull last time. Ah, brutal. Just does not want to go in the hole. Right on it. On hole number 3, we are getting some headwind on hole number 3.
Did you want to see how this is done? Put it together?
Okay. In the hole. All right, birdie. Arr. Oh. It's a tired, lazy Friday. And it's a draw. Come on, give me the screen. We know it's a draw. Maybe. Or maybe we're going to get locked in the screen of death. It's a draw. All right, that was hole number 11. Disappointing. Disappointing. I'll be right back. All right. My mother-in-law is staying with us for the next 3 weeks, and so she's cooking, and I was learning how to make a recipe. I do most of the cooking in my household. I grew up, my grandmother lived with us, and she was a short order cook, so I learned how to cook at a very young age. Hole number 9, Santa Ventura. This is hole number 3 of the Stateside Classics Tournament. All right, let's quit dicking around on this, and we're getting a headwind today, so it's going to be even more difficult to get over there. And I tried it with a power 3 ball in my, I tried it with a power 4 ball here, and I wasn't getting enough. There was not enough. Let me try it with a power 5 and C. I'm going to lose a little bit because the wind's going to go up. What we need is and this one doesn't, and the Megalodon doesn't have enough side spin. Let's look at a Berserker. We'd be better off with the Euro ball. Let's try the Euro ball. I'm going to use my Extra Mile Guardian Reaper and bring in a backspin club, backspin bag. Here we roll. And I am going for it on the drive. Now, I was bringing out a power 4 ball, but we're getting headwind today, and it's throwing that shot back. I have no idea going into the cup what kind of an adjustment I need to have, because I haven't actually achieved the shot getting out there to try and go for the dunk. So my preferred way to go for Albie on this hole is if you can get out to the right spot out there, you can do a dunk. And that's what I'm trying to do. My opponent goes first, using a spider ball. I'm assuming they're going to switch that up. No, that's it. Power 5, 2, side spin. Oh, I want to bring my number 5 bag. This driver doesn't work nearly as well, but maybe it will. Ooh, almost made it over. If you can get that second bounce so it hits the fairway, you can really pick up some distance going forward. And I don't think I have the right clubs, secondary clubs in this bag. No, I do. This is the bag I would prefer to bring. I want to hit out into that range right there. I want to be pinched up about a ring and a half off. 4-1. It's 1.5 per ring, so there's 3. So it's 2 1/3 rings. I don't think I need to use max curl. Hit it 1 ring great to the right. And that was actually on track as far as where I wanted to come in at it, right down the center. I've been coming in from that spot where I've actually been over curling it, and I've been coming in on the other side. I caught it the other day where I actually caught the fairway and I got forward momentum, but I was heading off to the right and ended up in the rough. There's a sand trap right behind here in this area. I was in the rough. I actually had the right angle, but I had the wrong rough iron. Well, it would be nice to have a machete in the bag if you were in that spot. The deal is if you're in the spot I'm in now, in that rough right before where I'm at, that you're gonna wish you had a Nirvana. You're gonna wish. And there's not enough backspin from this angle because the fairway's so short to keep me up on the green. Okay, so here's minimum club. I'm gonna try and, so minimum club's 1.5 per ring, so there's 4, there's 3 1/3. Hit it 1 ring great to the right, or left, excuse me. Your left, your right. And just lay it up there so I can get my eagle and move the hell on. I could have got really aggressive to the cup, but this is one of those holes that coming into it, there's so much movement out there that if you make a small little mistake and you're really trying to push the limit, or you're trying to get your second bounce more up here on the top of this hill so that it'll roll off, if you're off to the left of there, especially if you're off on that shot to the left, you could be in a spot of bother with that sand. In the hole, barely. All right, made up for the eagle I didn't get on the front. There's lots of opportunities to pick up shots here. There's also opportunities to drop shots, but there's plenty of opportunities to pick up a shot here, and this next hole is definitely one of them. Now, one-on-one, I don't normally think of this as being a high percentage one-on-one hole because hole-in-one hole because I don't ever bring the right stuff. But here in a tournament where we can set the shot up and really make sure we have the right stuff in our bag and we've got the right ball is huge. I'm going to bring a Kingmaker. Kingmaker. It's not the king of balls, but it's close. And all I need is a Grim Reaper. And that ball right there. All right. Let me put some math in here. Now, the wind's blowing different than it was before. We're getting a little bit of tailwind. Let me think about this. There's a spot out there, and if you're to the if you end up getting to the left of that spot, you can actually be in a spot of bother, and you can have a short putt, but it's one of those putts that curls around. And I'm not, I don't like those putts. And I actually missed one yesterday. I got all my numbers in. It's 1.8 per ring. I'm doing max backspin, 1 right-hand side spin, plus 10% to the cup. 1.8 per ring. If I can get matched up. That's a big if. Maybe. This is where we have the elevator music. We're going up floors. Da, na, 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 na. All right. Teased off. Goes first. Let's see if they have some success from down here, because I will tell you that if you can get this shot right here dialed in, this shot and the rough bump are not bad ways to consistently go at it. With varying winds, those shots are a little bit, because it wants to, headwind is really going to be pronounced. And you could find yourself in one of these spots where it carries just a little bit longer. Now, it does lip up right down here at the bottom, so I see a lot of people will clip the rough. They'll really pinch up on the rough right there. Nice. That was a nice bleed out. That's how you want it to hit, roll on the flat, and release out to the cup. That was very nice. All right, let's do the wind. 3.3 equals divided by 1.8. All right, I've got my ball set up. I've got my wind number. All I gotta do is find the spot. And the spot is right there. And I'm gonna move it 2.1 rings, 2.01, so basically 2 rings. Hitting it perfect. I've been excited about this whenever I hit perfect, because it's been right there, but the last couple times it's been leading off to the left, so something on the hole has changed, not just it could be the wind where I'm over pulling it. And which way the wind was blowing there, I under pulled it. That right hand side spin's off acting a little different. I was when I first started that shot, not putting on the right-hand side spin, and the ball was bleeding off to the left. So I put the right-hand side spin on there, and then what it was doing is it was making the ball spin in place and stop, and then just drop down the hill. And now it's not doing that. Now it's hitting, and it's actually spinning to the right and ending up going off to the right. No dice on that hole in the opener. That's a hole that if you can pick up, it's pretty awesome, because a lot of people aren't going to get hole-in-ones on that hole. Hole number 14. Are we on hole number 14? Let's look at that one more time. Hole number 14. Hole number 14 is Santa Ventura hole number 8. All right. I'm actually going for it on this. And the first, on the front side, I'm using a power 5 ball. I'm trying to actually get all the way down here to the tip. One of the fails that you can have, it's a fail success, is you clip the rough. You don't bridge the gap from where your first bounce is all the way over. You hit the rough and then you bleed out. And from this area, you're a short iron. And so from this area out here, you're a wedge. From this area over here, you're long iron. From this area over here, you're wood. So I'm trying to get up there into this range, and I missed way to the right last time and ended up in this sand over here. But you can recover if you've got the right recovery clubs. I was able to get up there and recover pretty easily. The epic fail here is that you end up in the drink. So you want to make sure if you fail on the right-hand side and try and keep the ball up into the fairway there. But let's get at it. I'm taking a... I'm going for it on these holes. Why not? Let's have some fun. This is not, this hole right here, I think in the traditional sense of how we play to try and get eagle, I'm taking that back right there. I think it's a tough eagle. I mean, it's gettable, but it's one of those holes that it's one of those types of holes that you go for the eagle. Some holes you go for the eagle and it doesn't work out and you get a birdie and you go home. But this is one of those holes that you're going for the eagle and it can smack you upside the head. There's a lot of shit going on out there as far as traps and water, and a lot of stuff can go wrong. So normally one-on-one I lay up to the left. And I mean, I literally lay up, I'm in wood. I did that shot yesterday. I was actually, that's the way I was going at it in my practice account, because I don't have any bigger ball selection. And I don't need max topspin, all I need 6. Okay, and this extra mile is 2.0 per ring, so it's about 2 rings. I'll put on max curl and a little bit of overpower. Hitting it perfect. And I've been in the rough up here in the front quite a few times over here on the left-hand side. So I've been over there several times. I've been on the rough in the right. I was in the sand one time back there and ended up clipping a tree. Getting a hole. Now this shot coming in, the deal is I haven't been able to take this shot very often. So let's see here. Per ring, and did I make any notes on if I'm doing something special to the cup? When I was doing the dunk, it definitely looked like I needed to add some on to it, but with the way the wind's blowing today, we were getting a little bit of headwind yesterday, and today we're getting side wind, pure side wind. See if my opponent can get up there. They're trying to get to the front. They got a nice long iron shot from right there. Okay, where's my rapier? I'm right at max club. So it's 1.2 per ring. Times 3.1 equals divided by 1.2. It's 3.1 rings. There's 1, 2, 3, 1. Just try and hit it perfect. Hitting it perfect. Let's see if we can get that in the cup. Just a little short. Sometimes when you're doing those backspin shots, that not the very last bounce that touches the ground, where if you've got the ball guide, it'll start to give you a tail. But the one right before that, the bounce right before that, I put the last bounce in the cup. And sometimes when you're playing those, because of you're trying to pull the ball back when you're doing those backspin shots, you'll put that other bounce right in the cup, and you can work that. I should have put that other bounce in the cup. I think the track was pretty close. It might have missed, but it was pretty damn close right there. To be honest with you, that's the first time I've taken that shot with. Now that's the second time I've taken that shot with a rapier. And the first time I was in mid club, I was a little bit closer, quite a bit. I was all the way up at the front. I was like one blade of grass away from being in the rough. That was a decent eagle shot at it. That wasn't the result I was looking for, but that was a decent shot at it. All right. What do we got next? We got the big topper hole next. I haven't hit an albie on this hole. Have I hit an albie? I did hit an albie. This is the albie that I got in practice. And the first par 5 is, and the second hole number 9, there really is, unless you can get over to the other side, which is what I'm trying to do, there is no shot at albie. I mean, you're laying up out in the field. There is no shot at albie. You're just going for eagle. I think the first par 5 is still pretty damn tough. It can be albied, but it's not by any means an easy albie. Hole number 15. Let me just go glance at it just so I know. Juniper Point hole number 5. All right, big topper. And I'll bet a pack of Titans that my opponent brings out an extra mile. And it doesn't matter which way they're going, they'll bring out an extra mile. Kingmaker. That's all I need. That's all I need. My goal is to try and get over 400. But anywhere in the 390s is like the ideal area. .125 times whatever the wind is divided by 1. No, wrong one. It's this one. 10% to the cup. I was looking at my notes here, trying to make sure I got everything set up. Since my opponent gets to go first, what'd they bring out? They brought out an extra mile. Surprise, surprise, surprise. I'm shocked. Now, where they're hitting right there, let's see if they're going to... Okay, that was with taking the wind out. So the wind's going to push them back 1 ring. And what that does on the left-hand side is it opens it up so they could hit a 1 ring great to the left or the right, because where they were at, they were digging down in the hole. Pretty good distance. Pretty good. Let's see if my big topper can do better than that 377. Max top spin, that's what's the order, and then however much right hand side spin I can still get on. 1.9. It's 2.1 per ring. It's the same as an extra mile. I'm just going to do a 1 ring pull. Puts me just a titch into power. I'm going to put a little bit of curl on it and a little teeny bit of power. Not enough to make the needle go any faster, but enough to let me know that I'm in power. And hit it 7,000 rings great to the right. If you hit it great to the right, you'll lose distance. It won't roll out like it's supposed to. And that'll put me in minimum wood. So minimum wood, I've got numbers written down for my wood and my grizzly, because depending on, using that big topper, you're really trying to roll across the fairway, and you're not trying to bounce forward so much where it's just kind of rolling. And on the right hand side, it loses a lot of momentum. It's all right. I got the same shots. I got a shot for this spot. Okay, first of all, let's do the wind. 3.3 equals. Now let's see where I'm at my club. I'm at minimum club right there. So min club divided by 1.3. It's 2.8 rings. I'm going to be a couple rings off. .8 rings. There's 2.5. There's 2.75. There's 2.8. Hitting it perfect. Get in the hole. That's what I'm talking about. Woo! Right there. In the hole. In the hole. That'll be a great tiebreaker. Because of the par fives, that's the one. If you're gonna get an Albie, that's the one. All right, finally won a chest. What are we talking about? Good job. All right, hole number 16. What I got on hole number 16? Hole number 16 is Juniper Point. Hole number 7. All right, I love this par 3, and it is just kicking my ass. I'm looking at my notes here. It's a 1 and a sliver of topspin. Maybe just a sliver of side spin. I'm taking any bag that's got a sniper, and I'm going to take one of those Olympus balls just to cut the wind down a bit. Let's open up a chest, get a slot empty. We're not going to win chests every time, man. You never want to miss out on the opportunity to win a chest. But especially if we're not getting a chest every time we win when we're playing these tournament holes. If we don't outright win on the hole and we're not getting that chest, that's not good. Especially when you do finally win one and then you don't have a slot open. And I was right on track earlier, and I put on the 1 and a sliver. On the front, the wind was going in a different direction. And so I put on the 1 and a sliver, and I needed to put on 1.5, because normally I put on 1 and a sliver, but we got a little tailwind here, so I see a lot of people doing this rough bump. I like the way that you can adjust the rings here. So if you know what your wind adjustment is, Getting it perfect. Let's see if they lined it up right. They moved that back real quick when they made that adjustment. Let's do my wind first. All right, now let's get in the slot. I'm going to go right at the cup. It's 3.3 rings. There's 1, 2, 3. 303, so it's less than 3.1. It's 3 and a little teeny bit. Hitting it perfect. See if we can finally get one to go in the cup. I've had one drop this week, but this used to be a hole that I used to get hole-in-ones on all the time, and I am just literally just that left-hand side is killing me. Killing me. And this is one of those holes that you could see when I tried to wag my tail. I was trying to get straight at the hole. I was off on the left-hand side of the cup, so I pulled it to the right to bring the tail around. But when I pulled it to the right, the tail waggled, and the tail actually went to the left. So I had to move it back to where I started, and then I had to push it left a little bit in order for the tail to waggle back to the right to get me back on the cup. That spot right there, I actually may, the next time this is in a tournament, I may do some research and find out what the base setup is for that rough bump. And start doing that rough bump, because that spot is pissing me off. I've had a lot of success from that spot down there where you're wedging your white ring up between the rough on either side, and it takes very little adjustment. I've had a ton of hole-in-ones on that, but it's gone dry. I hit one this week, but it's gone dry, and I hit it on a grate to the right to tell you how bad that was. All right, hold on. Somebody at my house. Just out in the street. All right, hole number 17. Okay, I remember this hole. We're at Vineyard Acres, hole number 7, this par 4. And I'm actually trying to get up a little bit farther so that I can get into my Grim Reaper range. And I think what I've decided is that even though I don't have to bring out a Kingmaker, a Kingmaker would be a better ball in this hole than a Katana. It would make sure that even no matter what wind I have, I'll be able to be in my Grim Reaper range. I'm going to bring this bag right here. Now, the deal here is that I took the shot with my rock in the front with a Katana, and it was very little topspin. I think it was like 3 topspin. So now I have even more forward moving distance. So I'm going to have to put on even less topspin. So there's a high likelihood that I could epic fail on the drive. Not epic fail up in the front, but roll out on the end and actually end up in the rough. Now you can make it from there, so it's not a totally epic fail. But the idea is to get into the range so that I can really practice that Grim Reaper shot. I normally take this in there with a Guardian, but the Grim Reaper is with the 100 backspin, you can actually keep it on the green. Try and refine your stuff a little bit better. There is somebody at my house. The dogs are going. And that area down there is an area not to get in trouble in. I think it was just UPS. Oops. Now, I think you can make it from down there, but that's not a good area to be in. Okay, I'm going to be like 2.5 rings off at the red line. How much topspin did I put on there? 2.5. 100% accurate club, 1 per ring, 3.5 rings. Max curl. Hit it perfect. And see if the 2.5 of the Kingmaker keeps me from bleeding into the rough out there. And I think I might change that to, let me make some notes here. I'm bringing a rock. Kingmaker, 2.5 topspin. 2 rings off. I was 3 rings off right there, maybe 2.5, but I'm gonna squeeze that up a little bit, because with the Kingmaker and the distance forward, I left a ton of forward bounce. On the second bounce, I was way out in front of it, so I can't go much closer to the right. I know that some people would demo that shot and they would say, okay, take a piece of paper and split it in half and be that far away from the rough. I like to leave myself a little bit of room. All right. Max backspin. Grim Reaper is 1.8 per ring, so let's do some math. 3.8 times 1.1 equals, divided by 1.8. It's 2.32 rings. Now let's see where I'm starting here. Got that white ring right there. It's 3.23 rings. Oh, it's 2.32, excuse me. There's 2, there's 2.25, there's 2.3 in that neighborhood. Hitting it perfect. I was running out of time. I was already in the red when I set it up. Now let's see if it's on the right track. It was coming into the inside. A little bit closer to the cup. A little bit to the right from where I started. And I'll go back and watch these videos. I recommend to everybody out there that you record your own video. Record your own gameplay. If you really want to make it up to the top of the charts and you're trying to work your way up there and you really want to get banners, you have to record your own gameplay. Because you can go back and you can see what you did right or wrong, and you can make great wind adjustments and go back and see, like, hey, did I hit everything perfect? Or sometimes you'll go back and look at it and go, wow, I made a mistake. But from that mistake, you figure out, you can do the reverse math and you can figure out, wow, I should have did a 10% adjustment on there. And then the next time you're on that hole, you can see what the deal is. If they're having varying winds between the front side and the back side, it's going to get super interesting. Super. All right, that was hole number 17. So minimum score right there. And I'm in 50th place. And how many people have yet to play? There's a couple. So about 70 people have finished playing. So we still have 30 to go. And I'm at minimum score right here. And minimum score is right at 50. I'm just going to go up and see. I don't want to know who's at the top or what the deal is up at the top. But minimum score goes all the way to 34. So 16 people at minimum score before we start picking up one. And we got a great opportunity on hole number 18. And hole number 18, we'll see which way the wind is blowing here. Hole number 18 is Vineyard Acres, hole number 9. I'm trying to go out into this area right here, and I can guarantee you I've taken the shot from right here. I came out and I actually caught the fairway here. I caught the fairway in this area right up here, and I rolled forward, but when I rolled forward where the rough kicks out, I just bled just barely into the rough. It was disappointing. But I just chipped it over to here to see what my shot would look like. And there is a way, my red line from this area, your red line with your Nirvana is like back in here, and you can easily get up to the shadow. So you still have the same exact shot that you'd have if you were laying up back here. But if you can get to that spot, my red line with my big dog was up here. And so I was thinking at the time max backspin, side spin, curl shot. where I put on, and I just try and swing it around the corner so that I can end up right here. But it does open up. So I think I went at it with like 3 or 4 backspin, max curl, max side spin, and was able to bring it up into my wedge range. But I left from where I landed. There was a bunch of room up here that I could have ran the ball. So I actually think it might be like 1 top spin. I hate to do shots where I don't use any topspin or backspin because I'm never really sure how naturally it will respond. But it could take maybe just a little bit of topspin so that you could swing it around and let it roll up. It may end up in this corner up here, but if you could carry enough speed to get to the green, it actually has a backboard on it, and it could swing you down on, which would be bad if you were long out here. But I think we could get on, or super close to on and two, if I can make that drive shot. And it is definitely all about the wind. And I don't actually have, I have 2 snow globes, and and while a snow globe, depending on which way the wind's blowing, could be the ball for this, I'm really reluctant to use my snow globes. Let's see which way the wind's blowing. If I can use the wind to my advantage, or my choices. I guess my choices are clear. I'm gonna use a Euro. And really, topspin is the deal here. The raw distance that you get with a Apocalypse is nice, but that extra topspin with an extra mile it could be enough to roll me out to the other side. And that is the bag that I want right there. That is the ball that I'm bringing. Got my usual suspects. I got everything else I need. If I get to the spot, open up this chest. We're on the last hole. Let's see if we can go get an eagle. See if I can do the same thing I did on the front. I dropped the shot on the front and then picked up the eagle on hole number 9. Awesome. Houdini, down and oneer. I'm doing a down and oneer every time it comes up because I'm trying to eliminate it from the group. I decided 2 or 3 weeks ago it was at like 300, but it was coming up. It was coming up like 5 times a week, and I just decided I'm done. I'm done. We're just going to eliminate that from the crowd. All right, let's go roll. Let's go get an eagle right here. Let's finish this off with an eagle and end up with a 26. And this is a tough hole to get an eagle on, so having an Albie and an extra eagle in my round will give me a great tiebreaker. Because you're going to be grouped up. There's going to be a bunch of people that are at 25, and everybody that's in these brackets shot the minimum score to get into them. So, I mean, there's a few people that shot higher than the minimum score that picked one up, and those tiebreakers are monstrous. But anything that you can do to separate yourself from the 40 people or 50 people that are in your crowd is something that you can do. And this wind is not going to be conducive for what I want to do. What I could do is switch to a Megalodon. That'll at least knock the wind down. Because I'm going to end up with the same kind of wind with a 1 wind ball as my opponent with their 1 wind ball. That nav's a 2 wind ball. So I'm going to switch to a Megalodon. What'll hurt me here is the side spin. See what kind of wind I got. Switch that to a Megalodon. Max top spin. Max top spin, max curl, max side spin. I want max everything. Give myself a little bit of room out there. Where you don't want to fail is at the very beginning. 2.4, it's a little over a ring. Oh, And I made the first bounce, but I'm going to be way off on the second. My trajectory is going to be way off with that. Great. Don't end up in that tall rough. Two ring great to the left. That's not good. That's not good. I haven't found yet. That's not to say that there isn't a spot out there. If you epic fail on the front and you clip the rough before you even get that first bounce out, then you're in big ass trouble. But I have not found a spot yet out there that I couldn't get to the good spot up here. My opponent has just a window. Just enough. But that's not to say that there isn't one. I just haven't found it yet. I'm going to pull back a little from the red line. I want to make sure I've got room to work out the wind. It's 2.0 per ring. And I'm going to pull it back to the red line on that track. I'm going to rub up against the nubs and overpower. Hitting a one ring great to the left. Just trying to float up there and get, the closer you can get to those shadows, or if you can get in those shadows, then you're starting to get into mid club as opposed to max. So I'm going to be pretty damn close to max. And I'm doing, just bear with me, I'm doing a 17.5% wind adjustment. I tried 15 and that wasn't right, and I tried 20 and that wasn't right. I was on one side of the cup and then I was on the other side of the cup. So I split the difference, and I made it on the front. I hit a perfect and bam, hit the flagpole right in the cup. So we'll see. We'll see. Making a great wind adjustment. Just a bit outside. All right, let's do my wind first, and then I'll find out where I'm at in my club. Times 1.9 equals. There's max. There's min. There's mid. I'm gonna play it at mid club, divided by 1.4, and I'm gonna run it up there just a bit. And I'm going to still play it at 1.4, even though I'm not quite where I'd like to be. So 1.6 rings. And there's 1, 5, 6. I'm going to have to snap this off. Ah! I hit it great to the right. And I ended up great to the right. My opponent ended up hitting great to the left and ended up great to the left. Imagine that. Took too much time working out the, trying to figure out where I was in my rings, debating it. I prefer to come out at stuff with my Hornet with about one backspin, because at one backspin it pops the tail out in the front, and you've got this little teeny lead tail. If you're putting topspin on it, it doesn't flatten out. It doesn't have quite the ball guide. It has a great ball guide, but it doesn't have quite the ball guide. All right, 25 should get me no matter what, even though I know they've expanded the tournament to 75. It will get me in. I have no doubt that all the 25s, there's not going to be any 25s below 50. Let's see what they are at the top. So 25s go from 26, well, 25s go from 29, all the way down to that 16 to 29. Wow. 13, 26, picking up 2, picking up 1 per side. That's really what you need to be thinking about in order to secure a top 10 is you need to just pick up one per side. And we have a lot of opportunities, but the deal is those holes that are eating people's lunch, on those holes, play it safe. Just go out there and to be honest with you, I know that there's people that are going to hit albies on hole number 3 this week, but hole number 3 is not an albie hole. Just go up there and get your eagle and limp onto it and do your thing and make sure you don't drop that hole. That's what a lot of people, those holes are what people are having problems with. So they picked up one on each side and a bonus. Those are the top 5. And a 29 at the top, picking up 5, picking up 2 each side and a bonus. That is what I'm talking about. And that's really, I'm thinking this week, if you're really trying to win, these are the numbers that you're looking for. 27 is going to put you somewhere in the tiebreaker deal. 28 could separate you from the crowd. Anything better than a 28, I mean, I think 28 and above, you're definitely in the banner hunt. But if you can shoot better than a 28 and you don't get a banner, somebody smacked you upside the head. And it's going to be really close depending on bracket, like the people that are at the top. All right. That was the opening round, coming in 26th with a 25, only picked up 1. So if they take another bracket just like this one and nothing changed, and I'm sure that it will, I'm sure that number will go down. It'll probably be mid-30s by the time it's done. So that means to take another bracket, and let's say that bracket was exactly the same as this one. That means I'm going to qualify coming into the tournament somewhere in the 70th, 60 to 70th range is where I'm going to qualify coming into the tournament. And so that means in the weekend round, my only hope, my only shot at getting a banner would be to shoot a 28 or better. Anything less than a 28, I'm going to get caught up in tiebreakers, and I'm not going to have tiebreakers with these people up here. And so if you don't shoot a 28 or better, you're going to be in trouble. Now, you could shoot a 28 and still end up not getting a banner or getting caught in a tiebreaker situation, but where you're going to have to separate yourself from the crowd is getting the 28. So that means you need to pick up 2 shots per side. If we think about where we have great opportunities to pick shots up, hole number 2, all of these par 3s, all the par 3s we have great opportunities to pick up. Let me think of the par 4s. That mid par 4 possibly. I'm just looking at the holes here to think what the deal is. That mid par 4 is a tough par 4 to get an eagle on. And the last par 4 is a tough par 4 to get an eagle on. I mean, and the par 5s, there's only one of them that you really have a super great opportunity for Albie, and there's one of them you don't have a shot at Albie at all. Hole number 9. Not unless you can get over to that spot I'm trying to get to. So we do have opportunities to pick shots up, but we really have to capitalize on those opportunities. And I think hole number 9, getting that eagle on hole number 9, that's almost as crucial as hole number 1, because that's a hole that we can standardize that shot and and get up there. All right, that was the opening round of the rookie division. It looks like I will make the weekend round. Not going to have great tiebreakers, but I never really. The whole deal is if you're on and you can shoot that round, then you're on. And I'm not going to worry too much about the tiebreakers. The tiebreakers are really going to affect you if you shoot a 27 in the weekend round, because that's going to be what keeps you out of the top 10 or keeps you from the banner hunt. I think if you shoot a 28, you're still going to get caught up in tiebreakers, or somebody in my position is still going to get caught up in tiebreakers, but I have a much better chance of getting a top 5 or possibly a banner if I can shoot 28 straight up. So that's what we'll shoot for in the weekend round. All right, Stateside Classic Tournament, opening round, rookie division. Thanks for watching.